Hello fellow model makers, and welcome to the fourth part of our Hobby Boss 148 scale A-10 Thunderbolt 2 build. Right, we have put the model together and it's time we started preparing the kit for paint. And I start by masking the canopy. The canopy on this kit is nicely detailed and the frame lines are well defined. As a result, I think we can mask this unit using some masking fluid. I will be using Mr. Masking Sol R by Mr. Hobby. I dab some masking liquid on the canopy and then use a cocktail stick or toothpick to spread it till the edge. Right, that's a nice clean masking job. All I have to do is let this dry before starting on another panel. After letting the masking fluid dry, this is what the canopy looks like. I'm happy with the way this has turned out. Now to mask all the wheel wells and other parts before we start painting. I fill the wheel wells with pieces of sponge. The more exposed areas are covered with the masking fluid. The canopy is now glued in place. The front canopy is glued with some Tamiya extra thin cement. I don't attach the second half of the canopy yet, so that there is ample space from any fumes from the cement to escape. If I close the canopy by gluing in both parts, there is a chance that the fumes, if any, from the cement will get trapped inside and fog up the canopy. The rear half of the canopy is glued in place with some PVA glue. The last bits and bobs, like this plate for the front, is glued in place, and the entire kit is primed with Mr. Finishing Surfacer 1500. After the primer was dry, I went over the kit with a 1200 grit sanding sponge and gave it a nice polish, removing any inconsistencies before the paint job. Now the first layer of paint, semi-gloss black. I now use white to paint on a mottle or marble pattern all over the kit. At some places, I just spray on large white spots to break up the monotony of the mottling. Next, I reintroduce the panel lines by doing some pre-shading with black. Alright then, I have chosen this scheme from the 23rd Tactical Fighter Wing based in England for the kit. I selected these three colors from Tamiya after matching them with the paint scheme on the instruction sheet. Flat green, olive green and black green. I start off by giving the kit a very light misty layer of paint. I do this for two reasons. Firstly, if I make a mistake with the camo scheme, I can make any corrections with the second coat of paint without losing the underlying pre-shading. Secondly, I need to see how the paints work together before committing to a final coat of paint. Once again, if there are any changes to be made in the paint selections, I will be able to do it without losing the pre-shaded mottling. After the first misty layer of paint, I felt that the flat green looked alright. So I sprayed on another layer of flat green. But I don't like the combination of the olive green and the black green. The two colors have come out too similar. So I decide to replace the olive green with NATO green. This color looks much better. The only thing is that the camo pattern is now not exactly as indicated in the instructions. The NATO green should have gone on the parts that were shown as lightest in the camo scheme, but I can live with that. The mottling pattern has come through nicely, but I have lost some pre-shading on the panel lines. So I take highly diluted black paint and do some post-shading on the panel lines. By highly diluted black paint, I mean a ratio of 10 parts thinner to 1 part paint. The camera seems to be exaggerating the black post-shading. To the eye, the effect was a lot more subtle. Alright then, fellow model makers, that completes the major part of the paint job. That is all for this edition. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do like and comment. If you are here for the first time, do subscribe. Next time, we will add the decals and paint the ordnance for the kit. Till then, good luck and happy modeling.